All right, then it's hump day. That's a whole new meaning since Swalwell got busted. I'm just saying
Mm,
they don't. It's not the same thing around his office.
no.
Man, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm too blessed to be the press, brother. I am good. Can't
Almost,
complain.
almost wore a hat that looks just like whatever the hat is you've got on.
Yeah, it's
Hold on, what did I
breaking
wear?
bread hat.
Okay. I was about to say we'd be too much twins. People might be getting us confused before the show's over.
Wait a minute. Yeah, because sometimes when people call in, they call you AJ, and then they'll call me Leland. And
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know we sound alike sometimes.
Does every white boy you're hanging out with, they think that's me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it still happens.
Yeah.
16, 17 years of this, people.
It's either that or Will.
Yeah.
At least I can say I know two. I know two white people.
Yeah, we got two white friends. You know, some of my favorite friends are white.
Right. Yeah. If I ever get in the jam, I know who to call.
Yeah, man. We'll bail you out. Oh, man. Okay, look, let's start with the weather. And, man, we got a lot of hodgepodge stuff today to get into. I'm excited about some of the things that we need to talk about. But first up, the forecasters are starting to refine a sequence of storms. We're finally getting spring storm weather, and we need it desperately. But Friday night could involve some hail. Now, the timing on this looks like Friday evening into Monday morning. So basically, for most of you, 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So we'll all be asleep. There's no tornado threat predicted in this first round, but there is a large hail threat. So whatever your preps are to protect mainly your vehicles or even tender vegetation, grandma, anybody that would be outside that time of night, your kids. Do y'all even know where your damn kids are anymore? I mean, bring them home because there's hail.
Hey, look, if grandma's outside at 2 in the morning, man, that ain't grandma.
She's out there looking for your kids. Nobody cares about the kids anymore.
That'd be all right.
Yeah.
Builds character.
I agree with them. Our parents just made us deal with it. Mm-hmm. Hailstorm, figure it out.
Yep.
So that's Friday night. And then Sunday, I think it's Monday night into Sunday and Sunday night into Monday. Another round. This one could potentially have a tornado threat involved, and they keep moving the map around. Right now, they don't have it right over Birmingham, but it's a big system moving in east to west. The good news, we always expect severe weather in the spring. We're used to it. We know what to do. But the good news is there is the potential over the next 7 days for us to get, on average, and again, we broadcast to a huge area, so for some of y'all, it won't be as much, but we may get as much as 3.5, 4 inches of rain in spots. We desperately need it because we're edging on a drought situation that's creating a fire hazard. It's not as bad here, and they're still asking us not to burn right now. And I desperately need to burn some brush and some stuff I've cleaned
You been
up.
having fun with your new tool?
Yeah, almost. I'm doing some hydraulic connections this morning.
Okay.
Worked on it all day, but when I get a video of it, I'm gonna show. I want to be hell. I got a lane shark cutter on the front and a flail mower mulcher on the back, and I'm about to tear some woods up for the rest of the summer. AJ, I'm not going to get poison ivy ever again. I'm going to destroy things. Probably hit some snakes while I'm at it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can come over and you can come over. I'll teach you how to do it. You can come over and
talk about a good stress reliever, man.
Oh, yeah. You turn the engine on, turn the world off.
Mm-hmm.
Get out there and tear some things up. But, but I do. Like some of y'all, I start piling up some of that dead stuff, and it's just been sitting there because you don't need to light a fire to anything right now. So that's good. Now, speaking of fires, South Georgia, if you go from Alabama down to Florida, from about Montgomery down to the Florida line, then all the way to the coast, they've got a severe drought going on. The Big Bend of Florida, the sort of the Okefenokee swamp area of Georgia, that southeast part of Georgia. One of my best friends lived in there for a long time, and I've traveled there a lot during my life. It's a great part of the country, but they're having terrible fires right now. There was some community, let me see if I got this, Baxley, Georgia, down in southeast Georgia. There were 42 homes burned down overnight. And, it's not making national news because this isn't in a big national media market, but the fire had grown from a small fire to over 1,000 acres at one point. And so they're sending everything they can at that, but, they won't get the rain till well after us. So we're pretty well off in central Alabama compared to that, but still a pretty serious drought situation out there right now too. All right, let's before we get outside of Birmingham, I saw Carol Robinson post this a second ago. Somebody found a skull in the middle of the street over in Birmingham. It was on, I think it was the 200 block of 6th Avenue North, wherever that is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's over in the area where you would expect a skull to be. But apparently a dog drug it up, and Carol Robinson had a video that she posted. You can see it up against the curb, and it is completely decomposed. It's just like a Halloween skull at this point. So it's tragic, but still, there's a little bit of comedy in that as well.
Mm.
You remember when some dog around here kept bringing up human bones? It would dig them up, bring up like a leg. Where was that? It was in the news around Birmingham somewhere. And then the next day, it'd bring a hand. And they started looking at it, was like, these aren't the same body.
Right.
This dog had a talent for going out and finding dead people decomposed in the woods.
Oh gosh! Now is where did they find this at someone's backyard, and then who is this missing person?
I don't know.
If it is a missing person.
And see, that's the thing. Birmingham uniquely, and some cities are like this, has this high backlog of cases of bodies they found and missing people that don't match. In other words, they'll find bodies and they have no idea who it is. And sometimes at the end of the year, they'll put their faces back out there or try to get some identity on them and try to compare that to missing persons records. And sadly, and it's just the most heartbreaking thing in the world, some people go missing in this world and nobody knows it. I mean, isn't that that's just an awful thought that you would be in a place in life where something bad were to happen to you, nobody would know. Nobody's checking on you. These folks have lost connection with family, and I suppose some of it could come from the homelessness situation in Birmingham. But, the addiction situation, general crime, who knows? But apparently there's a lot of police hubbub over there on 6th Avenue North as they're they hadn't moved the thing yet. Well, in the video, they hadn't moved it yet because they got to figure out how did it get there out in the open. Looked like it decomposed and maybe an animal dropped it off to let everybody know. It's like, hey, man, I left your skull over here by the curb. Good Lord.
Oh, God.
Man, I covered one of
That's
the most.
the wrong type of fetch I ever want.
What's that little area over? It's it's the area over across from where Century Mall used to be over in Irondale.
Mm-hmm.
I forget this neighborhood, but I covered a story over there in the 90s where this woman, I mean, I hate to drag y'all down with all these tragic stories, but there is a callousness out there about dead bodies that even in those days would still stun me. And I was so used to covering death and destruction and murder, I just got numb to it. But one day, this woman was found. Somebody had murdered her and stuffed her down into a sewer drain. You know, the curb sewer drain down on the side of the street. When we were kids, we'd crawl in there and play in those things.
Mm-hmm.
And they stuffed this woman down in there. And the whole damn neighborhood, for like 2 days, nobody called the police. They just all go out there and take turns looking at her. I mean, the whole neighborhood was down, just looking at they'd say, let me look. And then the next person would look. Nobody called the cops. So the cops weren't called for days. And I think they later identified the woman. That was terrible. Tragic story. Anyway, updates on that if we get them. Yes, I will review the situation in Virginia yesterday. This is going to get good before it gets worse. I got a lot to talk about. We got an Iranian update. Of course, things still in the air there. Been a little bit of movement today. And then who knows what else. Missing scientist story. AJ, we got another UFO researcher missing. Well, suspiciously dead. I'll talk about that later. And your phone calls and anything else that breaks. It's a crazy day today. A lot to do. We already getting calls, though, so let me clear a couple of those before we get too deep into weeds. Here's Kim in Argo. What's up, Kim in Argo?
Hello. I was listening to the broadcast right before you,
Yep.
and they were talking about the fact that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Right.
Okay, because for 683 years, they have not wanted the Jewish state to be where it is. They think that they have claim on that land, which, if you read your Bible,
Yep.
they do not. And I think that Israel has been very nice and accommodating to the Palestinians to even let them live as close as they do.
Well, they didn't do that
Because
last year.
Okay.
But, I mean, I'm all for it. They've got a right to live.
They had kidnapped people and they still have two people.
You mean the guy,
from where they
the
kidnapped them from
Hamas?
October 7th.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and they hide in hospitals, they hide in schools, they hide in apartment buildings, but they are raised from birth to hate Jewish and to hate Americans.
That's the truth.
And you know, up until 40 years ago, it was kill the Jews, kill Jews. Okay, but then it turned into kill the Jews and kill Americans. And then it turned into kill Americans, kill Jews. But you know, the first thing that they're going to do when they get a nuclear weapon is to bomb Jerusalem.
Well, the good thing is that's
And
theoretical right now because we have a president named Donald Trump, and that's not the case anymore.
exactly.
They don't
And
have
so
that
I
power.
hated to get religious about it for a
Well,
second.
that's all right. Ain't
but
nothing wrong with being religious. Ain't nothing wrong with
hey,
knowing your
right?
history.
I mean, because
Thanks.
that's where it comes from.
I appreciate you, Kim. Thank you.
And anyway, but you know, once it turned to kill Americans first, we are very fortunate as a country to have Donald Trump in office.
Thank you, Kim. I'll
Because
just to add to that, and I do need to move on, but I've been wanting those some bitches
I
blown up
know.
since 1979. So
Okay,
I'm fine
but
with it.
anyway, I'm glad that he's handling it.
Thank you, Kim.
And
By the way, I had to hang up on Kim because I'm trying to get the show going. And, you know, that's one of Andrew's leftovers. Does he not take care of his own callers?
No.
Why are they going to hang around? I don't even know what they were talking about. No, I get what Kim was saying, but I've just got a break coming up. And by the way, that quote, I've been wanting to kill them some bitches since 79. That is not in the Bible. That is not a biblical quote. That's just me.
That was the chapter of the book of Leland.
That's the book of Leland T.
Verse 1.
Mm-hmm. Chapter 1. Boom. Saith Leland. Back in a minute. All right, y'all, 220 Leland Live, talking to NM5 Birmingham Broker, getting us kicked off today. Man, if you're in the business of trading a vehicle now or in the future, y'all think about Birmingham Broker. You'll do better on the deal. I'm trying to save you some money. I'm trying to help you make a little money on that ride because you can sell at retail and do better. BHAMBroker.com, BHAMBroker.com, downtown Birmingham. Craig, Keith, the whole team down there, they will walk you through it, take care of the deal, find you a buyer, help you with the price. Just make it happen. And I love that. I'll never trade a different way again. I've done several deals, even family members. My wife just sold a car with them. The difference on what a dealer offered her versus what they sold it for was thousands. It used to be a couple $1,000s was the difference between wholesale and retail. That spread is much bigger nowadays, and you don't want to waste that money. And they do all the hard stuff. BHAMBroker.com, BHAMBroker.com. All right, Bob's got a traffic update. Let's get that in here, and then we'll grab a couple more phone calls. I always try to push those to the top. Bob, what's going on, man?
Well, hey, Leland, I don't know if this is an update or not, but I'm on 65 North coming up on Alford Avenue, and I've been in a traffic jam parking lot for at least a half an hour, and
Goodness.
I wondered if y'all knew what was happening.
No, I haven't listened to our traffic reports, but let me just look it up on my traffic map. I don't see anything on the map, man. There is, well, I do see it. It's right around Lakeshore, it looks like. So between Lakeshore and almost down to the 459 interchange with 65, traffic is backed up in the northbound lane, and it's showing a wreck there. It must be. If you get on the interstate and it involves an 18-wheeler or a big truck or a fatality, that will always take a lot longer to clear. There's a lot more they have to do on those scenes. But it doesn't say what kind of wreck it is, but that apparently is what it is.
Well, you just answered my question that I had. Well, thank
There you go, buddy.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
all these people that are coming in and trying to make like these fundamental Islamic terrorists are good guys. They're not. Once they get rid of Israel and they want a bomb to do it, they're coming after every Christian in the world. The Islamic fundamentalists want a worldwide caliphate. In other words, everybody is a Muslim. And to get there,
you know, people will come after you, Bob, for saying that nowadays, but these people are ignorant. That is what they've been doing since the 700s, period. It's just a fact.
What they want to do is you've got to swear allegiance to Islam. Then you have to pay a tax for not becoming a Muslim for so many years.
Yeah, the jizra.
I mean, once they get through with the Jewish state of Israel, they're coming after you. They're coming after every Christian in the entire world, and they will not stop. Now, this is not all Muslims. This is just the fundamental Muslims, caliphate people.
Sure. Yeah, there's a whole clique of them.
And once you have a little bit more time, and I don't want to bore your listeners, but it's biblically in the book of Genesis why they hate us. And I'll call back another time.
All right, Bob.
All right, take care, buddy.
A traffic update and some theology all in the same phone call. Man, who's going to top that? I bet Jamie can't top that. Jamie's in Winfield. What's up, Jamie?
Yeah, they found some remains of a person up here in Winfield back around the first of the month. And finally they identified the body, and nobody's talking about it. It was found under a porch at an old homestead place, and nobody's saying anything about it. But his name was Travis Odenwater, and he was the hide-and-go-seek champion in 1968.
Look out. Did he set that whole thing up?
Is that a joke? Wow.
Yeah, I think it was.
Okay.
Thank you,
I thought it was a pretty good one.
You know what? Give him a rim shot. We got to try to keep it light today. I appreciate it, Jamie. I like it when people swing for the fence.
I'm just trying to lighten things up
I like it,
a little
man. That's
bit.
good.
That's funny, wasn't it?
After the back-to-back theology calls, I appreciate Jamie's joke. I can go see champion.
Since 1960.
We used to play a version of hide and go seek. We called it Foxes and Hounds.
Okay.
White boys, AJ. I'm just saying. what happened was you'd have two teams.
Mm-hmm.
Any of my buddies that are listening, we were about 13, 14, 15. We'd camp out. We'd put out a bunch of tents, and our parents let us stay out all night. Because then what we're going to do? Shoot each other? We didn't do that back then. And so we'd just run around. And the way it went was instead of just finding the person, you kidnapped them and beat the hell out of them and took them back to your camp. And the idea was who could
– with this game?
Rednecks. The idea was whoever could capture the whole other team, right?
Uh-huh.
So, man, one night I got clever. Me and my buddy Greg decided we would hide out in the open. So we got down in a drainage ditch and covered ourselves in pine straw so that we could breathe and see out. But they were walking all around us, stepping over us. We were just laying there. And finally they gave up. If they can't find the last members of the team, they give up. I don't know why we call it foxes and hounds. I guess somebody's the hound, somebody's the foxes.
Right.
And so we felt like champions that night.
How long were y'all out? Because obviously y'all were out all night.
About 2 hours. It was about 2 or 3 hours. It was wee hours of the morning. They finally called out and gave up. They couldn't find us because we climb trees, dude. We get under whatever, and it was practicing running from the cops later, and when we got older. But so Greg and I thought we were the geniuses of all time. So we went back to the camp, and about an hour later, I started itching. And then he started itching. And then we woke up the next morning, and I looked like I had leprosy. You know what's in pine straw? Red bugs. AJ, I had 187 red bug bites.
Oh, God.
Chiggers is what we called them back then. Y'all don't get offended.
Yeah.
And so, I was eaten alive. And back then, every mom had a treatment. They put nail polish on them. There was stuff you try to do. The sad thing is we had this little beach meet up with some girls the next day. So we all go to this beach. It was like on the lake. And it was a bunch of guys, a bunch of girls. Our parents dropped us off. I'll just never forget this one girl I had my eye on. She walked up, and the first thing out of her mouth was, ew.
Ew.
It kind of broke my soul there for a little while. I just put my shirt back on and went and sat on a picnic table. That was it for me that day. I had no game that day. I looked like I had gotten out of a leper colony. I had the chicken pox. But, hey, we won the damn game, Jay.
Yeah.
AJ, we won.
Yeah, y'all. At least y'all won. At least
They did not
at least
find
you were the hide-and-seek champs.
You dang right. I don't know why he reminded me of that old story. Crocker Moving Services, man, if it's time to get going, you got to get going. You got to do it in a hurry. Sometimes you got a little more planned effort, so you're going to be able to call Crocker, stage it all out, know when they're coming, move some of your small stuff. Some people want to get their own, boxes and clothes and Mama's picture and all that stuff, but you don't want to pick up the heavy stuff. You don't have to maneuver that. Crocker's fine with that. They can scale their services down to whatever you need. They can scale them up to whatever you need. If you need a full-fledged, pack the whole house, put it on a bunch of trucks, take it across the country, they'll handle that too. They're just good like that. And they've got all the tricks and the proper equipment to handle stairs and corners and tight spaces and highly trained folks. This is just a wonderful company. Moving is stressful. They say it compares to having a death in the family. And if any of y'all have ever done it, man, it's always not something you look forward to. So let the pros handle it and save all your friendships. And you'll find they have honest rates. And because they can scale those services, I mean, they can save you some money, really. You don't have to rent a whole crew for the whole day with all their trucks. You can they got a 2-hour minimum. It's one of my favorite things. Hey, they're still hiring too until Leonard calls me and tells me they filled up for the summer. If you got someone that's got a strong back and needs to be working and busy, maybe it's you, maybe it's a kid in your family, put them to work. They'll be under good supervision and get to learn an honest day's work at CrockerMovingServices.com. All right, bottom of the hour, back here in a minute. Headlines as we go. Y'all hang on. All right, it's 2:35. Alabama Bass, next sponsor up here on the show today. Man, the first time I met Mike, I liked him, got to know his whole family. And it's part of the pattern we have here on the show of sponsors that are first and second generation, been in business a long time, total experts at what they do, family businesses. Those are folks, I'm just telling you, and y'all, a lot of you know this, they're just going to treat you better. They're just going to treat you like neighbors. Their reputation's riding on it. They live here with us. This isn't those corporate schmucks that try to get involved in every industry category, and they come at the world with sales pitches and pressure tactics and pricing structures and an inferior product. This is the best product in the market. Mike and his family, Sandra, Jill, all those guys, John Dewey, all of them, they have the best product. The product they sell, at least the portion that we talk about the most on the show, are the tub shower replacement systems. You can either get a new tub to replace your old tub, even one with a walk-in access door, or better yet, a freestanding shower in the place of that old tub that's made out of material that's not slippery, that's not dangerous, that is thought through and ergonomically designed, yet beautiful, that will improve the look and the feel and the safety of your bathroom. This may be a wonderful gift, almost a life-saving gift for your mom or dad. You got mom or dad getting older and you're just worried about them falling. That's an issue as we get older. Maybe y'all get together and do this for them. It'll also save you from having to go over there and give them a sponge bath. I'm just saying, maybe it's a selfish gift. It's alabamabaths.com. Down in Pelham, if you want to go see a build out, they've got one built. Sometimes people, brochure's not enough. They want to touch it. They want to step in there and look at it. Go down there. They've got a beautiful version of how it looks. I think you'll get excited. And here's the fun part. It's a 2-day deal. From the tear out to the completion and the testing, it only takes them 2 days. Really, they can do it in 1 day, but they give you that second day to come back and test the fittings. Anybody that tells you they can do it in a day is just not being honest. You need to come back and test the fittings, and that's what they're going to do for you. Y'all reach out to them and get to know them. alabamabaths.com, alabamabaths.com. Okay, let me get Daryl in here real quick. Then I'm going to get on to the heavy news of the day, the big stories of the day. We got a bunch of stuff. Daryl, what's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Just wanted to say, you were talking about the hide and go seek. I have 5 brothers and sisters, and me and you're roughly about the same age. I'm a little bit older, I think. So back in the old days, as my children say, we played hide and seek and all this. Well, somebody would always hide or be the seeker, and it would be like, oh, you counted or you didn't count long enough or you cheated. So what we started doing is you would tie the seeker up to a tree, and then when he got out, he would come find you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and it was just the same way. It was like smear the LGBTQ.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore. It rhymes with smear though, but you can't. They won't let you say that.
So
anymore.
Anyway, it's always that. Well, we do this one afternoon, and it starts getting dark and everything, and then my parents and my brothers and sister are all at the dinner table, and everybody's like, "Where's Daryl?" And they're like, "I don't. Oh my God."
They forgot about you.
I didn't get out. They forgot about me. I was in the woods, and then they lost me because they couldn't find me. So I was about 9, and Bigfoot was out there.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
There was Mothman. I mean, it was like Jason and Freddie were out there.
They were all in the
hanging out,
woods.
'cause I could hear
Yep.
them.
Yep.
Yeah, all in the woods. And when the flashlight came and they finally found me, they untied me, and I went to punch my oldest brother, and my dad stepped in, and they punched my dad right in the nether region, and got put him down.
Oh, wow.
So I got a whipping for hitting my dad because I was tied up for 4.5 hours in the woods in the dark.
The moral of that story is don't hit dad in the nuts. Don't do it.
Yeah, that basically, but
Yeah.
always aim for your brothers.
True
So
that.
That's kind of
Yes.
how that goes. So I
Good
get
advice.
you were there on that one. So you guys have a great day.
All right, Daryl. Hey, Jerry, we're freaking you out here with all these country boy woods games in the woods.
Yeah, I don't see why that's fun. Like I don't understand.
Well,
that.
when you're young, it is fun. We didn't have video games, so we had to
I
invent
mean,
stuff to do.
I had video games too. Well, I had
Dude, there
I
had
had
to-
invent games and stuff like that. But I lived in St. Louis too, so
True that. Yeah, you don't go too far from the house in
yeah,
St. Louis.
yeah, we had to stay in our little.
Yeah, you had enough danger. We had to invent fear and things to be afraid of. We didn't have to
Right,
walk out the door and
right.
get shot.
But it also made me think about there was a former employee of ours that I feel so bad. I still feel bad about this. So he reminded me I had hit his keys, and there was like a stand, and there was some magazines in there.
I remember this.
And I hit his keys.
You hit his
in,
car keys, okay?
And
yeah.
I did it as a prank, right? And then I forgot. And I'm on the air. The air with Leland, and I'm like, "Oh, what are you still doing here?" He was like, "I can't find my keys." And he called his mama, and his mama and his brother came, and I was like, "Oh," I said, "Oh God."
Was he the one that lit the hamburger on fire in the microwave?
No, that was another one. That was another.
You weren't even being mean. You just thought it was just a temporary prank.
And I still feel bad, still to this day, you know. And I think I probably created a villain. You know, that's
maybe
how villains are made.
Maybe so. He's off in a Batman movie somewhere right now.
Yeah, he's plotting something against me.
It all started with a key prank.
So I started with and that's how most villains start.
Yeah, they were bullied by people like you.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to bully. I thought I was funny, and I just forgot. I mean,
dude, that happens.
Yeah.
Once you launch a prank, you got to follow through and unlaunch the prank if it doesn't go well or doesn't go at all. I mean, there's some rules to live by. Anyway, I don't know how we got down that road. Let me talk about some things. First up, the Virginia vote last night. I told y'all I felt like the Democrats would have an edge in that state because of northern and eastern Virginia. And when I said that, I wasn't saying it to mean that they would have a higher vote total. It's because they have the capability of cheating, and that's exactly what they did last night. They stuffed, and it's statistically provable while not legally provable. So the Democrats being desperate to try to wrestle control of the House away from the Republicans so they can harass Trump. This is just about slowing down Trump's last 2 years. He has come at them at a breakneck pace, and they're desperate, especially Barack Obama. So they launched this thing in Virginia. It's the most absurd, likely to get overturned in the courts. The representation is clearly unconstitutional the way they drew that state. The vote itself wasn't, they apparently in their constitution, you can't put a referendum on in a special session. So I don't know about Virginia law. There'll be all these court challenges. There's some likelihood that it could get overturned. You can't, the vote turnout alone, despite the 35,000 mysterious mail-in ballots that showed up right at the last minute when they needed them because it was close. The Democrats spent tens of $millions. I think they outspent the Republicans like 3-1. It was still close because there's some basic unfairness about it. Even though the ballot language itself said, we're going to do this so that we can create some fairness. They were just talking about the rest of the country, right? So it really is, it's amusing to watch this because I think they fell into something of a trap. They clearly manufactured about 35,000 outside votes that came in through the mail at the last minute that could not have even been counted when they showed up. And it happened all late in the evening. We've seen this pattern before, so what are you going to do? So anyway, so they win it, but now you got Ron DeSantis saying the state of Florida next week, they've got a special session called they're going to redraw Florida. And now they've got all the ammo they need to be more aggressive in redrawing the Florida districts. Hakeem Jeffries is out trying to threaten, don't start none, won't be none, F around, find out. Well, here comes Florida. If Florida draws the map that's under consideration there, it'll nullify what Virginia did last night, plus give the Republicans an extra vote. By the way, nobody's won these districts, but they're going to be composition to give each party an edge. Here's what DeSantis said to low-rent Timo Obama earlier today.
Has compact districts. It's done in a way that makes a lot of sense. And the reality is if you look at like California, they're doing all this dog and pony show there now, saying, oh, Texas, we've got to combat Texas. California is one of the worst gerrymandered maps there is. What they did, this is how they do. They're like, no, we're going to do an independent commission. So they do a commission. The problem is, it's like if you truly were independent, it's like you would be immune to any type of partisan pressures. But that commission is comprised of liberal Democrats, liberal independents, and very liberal Republicans. I think one of the Republicans is from Berkeley, like not exactly a hotbed of Reagan conservatism. It is what it is. So they hotwired that independent commission to produce a map that was very much gerrymandered and was not something that was fair to Republicans even at that time. Now they're saying they want to do even more by doing whatever they're talking about doing now. So don't buy this notion that if someone has a commission, that somehow means it is immune from this type of partisan pressure.
Okay, so typical
California-
DeSantis, he gets all deep in the weeds. He's very academic about this stuff. But this dude does his homework, and here's what you need to know. He's engaged. And now I think he feels that Florida's got to step up and do the same thing. And we've been sort of following this back and forth state-to-state redistricting war, if you want to call it that, for days on end. But don't miss the real story here. They've just used, well, this is a side story, but they've just used mail-in balloting in what mathematically looks fraudulent. And the ballots are there. The election's fresh. Somebody's going to take a look at that, I presume, from the federal government angle, because Virginia's done two things in the last 2 weeks to disenfranchise their own citizens. Number one, they're trying to tie their electoral college votes, and the governor signed this bill, to the national popular vote, which also is unconstitutional. States can't do compacts to rig the electoral college like that. It's spelled out in the Constitution. So that's likely to get overturned. But that takes, if you're a Republican in Virginia, your government just says you don't even need to come vote. You don't count. And then they took a state that just voted basically 50-50 Republican versus Democrat and gave 90+% of the representation to the Republicans. Wildly disproportional. Texas is disproportional based on voter turnout to the Republicans, but it's marginal. This was egregious. Now, here's the bigger story, and stick this one in your pipe and smoke it because it's coming. It's widely believed from the people that really are able to read the tea leaves with the Supreme Court that they're about to throw out the portion of the Voting Rights Act that allows for racial consideration in drawing congressional districts. Follow me here. We've been talking about it for months. We don't know how the court's going to rule, but for the purposes of this exercise, let's presume that the experts are right and the court is about to throw that out. It is unconstitutional. Let me say that clearly. You can't have a Civil Rights Act and also use race to draw political boundaries. Both can't be true. So if the court finds that, the Democrats know that they're about to lose 14 seats in the United States Congress. All over the country, particularly in the South, where racial gerrymandering is used the most. There's just a heavier black population in the southern states. For example, Alabama now has two majority-minority districts, if that's not an oxymoron. So what happens then? They're doing things out of desperation in Virginia, hoping to get away with it, hoping one of these lawsuits doesn't throw the map out and force them to start over, because this Supreme Court ruling is going to put them even further behind the eight ball. It's not about Texas, because New York really started this. New York started it, then Texas jumped in, now these other states. If Indiana were to find their testicles, they could completely wipe out all the Democrat districts there based on current voting patterns. It was a Trump plus 20 state, but they're too decent in Indiana to do such a thing. So far they've wimped out. So the redistricting war is just getting started. This wasn't an end. This is not going to definitely give Democrats some new edge, because Florida can wipe it out next week. They don't have to go to a referendum. Different states do it differently. Some states have a requirement that if the independent commission draws a new boundary, or if they're going to change them, that has to be approved. California's like that. Virginia's like that. Florida can just do it legislatively. Now, granted, they'll also get sued. They'll also wind up in court. There'll be challenges to those districts. What does put a rain cloud over all this for the Democrats is if the Supreme Court removes the race-based districting that has been used for decades in this country since the Civil Rights era. The Democrats can't go and just sue over new maps based on that legal, I guess, precedent or history and win districts like they were doing. Eric Holder, by the way, has been in charge of this, former AG under Obama. He's run around the country. He's raised a bunch of money. They're picking off districts, and he's been successful. I got to hand him credit. These guys fight. They did it here in Alabama. It took us to court. based on something that's about to get overturned by the Supreme Court, we think. If that happens, everything gets redrawn and the Democrats are hosed. No matter what they do in Virginia, it's going to come colliding in on them. And by the way, if anybody in the legislature is listening to this show, y'all better be ready. I know some people are already working on maps and preparing because the state of Alabama could redraw in a special session. Boom, done. Wipe out those two gerrymandered districts, and we go back to some semblance of integrity and continuity in these districts as the Constitution requires. So here we go. The redistricting war. This was just the latest volley. And by the way, I think they got so desperate to make it happen last night. I believe they are. Even Trump's calling them out on it naturally, but that is just not statistically possible. For example, in the early voting, the yes votes, yes meaning approve the Democrat map. The yes votes had a slight lead. I think it was 4 or 5 points in the early voting. In the same day voting, the no votes had a much bigger lead, but a lead nonetheless, making it pretty even in a state like Virginia. They call it a purple state. And then here comes the mail-in votes. It was like plus 28 or something. Almost all of them went toward yes, which is fraud. It's complete fraud, and we know it. Trump is supposed to put another executive order out making it illegal to use the Postal Service to deliver ballots, according to some standard. I don't think that's even enforceable. But because we can't get the SAVE Act passed, which would clear up a lot of this stuff, because Thune is a poon, here we sit. It's bipartisan stupidity is what it is. Democrat desperation, Republican weakness. It's a formula that's been around my whole life. So fun stuff last night. I'm telling you, it was fun to watch. Now I've still got Ilhan Omar's back in the news with the fake winery fraud. This woman could be in so much trouble. She's doing the stupidest stuff right now to cover her tracks. It reminds me of Swalwell when he tried to go into denial mode. We're going to cover that in a minute. We still got to talk about the Iran war. We're watching the market close. I'll tell you what, I'll push Iran off to the top of the hour so we can get the market close and tie in the economic news, because this is an economic war now. The shooting war is kind of still going. It's little pot shots here and there, and Iran doing terrorism moves. But the bigger issue is who's got the economic upper hand. I think y'all know the answer to that, and I've got some proof for you coming up here in just a minute as well. Plenty to do today. Man, we're on it, 545-9950 if you want to get in on the show. Alabama Dental bringing you the show this hour. Dr. Brian is my personal dentist over there and has been since 2019 or so. Man, it was such a nice change. 2019, 2020, when I discovered Dr. Brian's practice. I was in the market, so to speak, for a dentist. My practice got sold out, so I didn't have any loyalty there. And I got to know him through my friend John Lanius. Next thing you know, I'm a patient, and he's on my radio show. This blew my mind. I did not know they had late hours. I'd never heard of that. And to this day, I don't know how many practices would actually do that. And a single dentist practice just can't do that. They can't pull that off, man. We got some great practices, but who's going to stay open until 7 if it's one dentist trying to cover the whole day? These guys are also open on Saturday just because there's 4 of them. It's a super practice. They've all got 4 specialties, and they'll take care of you. They've got the expertise, the technology to diagnose your problems, and the flexibility to help you out when it comes to all the hours that they make available to us. AlabamaDental.com. Y'all reach out and get your appointment. Take care of your teeth. AlabamaDental.com. Y'all, Ox Foundation Solutions also there to help you out with your home. If you wind up with anything going sideways with your foundation, it can happen even to the best of homes. Nobody wants to find anything. It's one of those things you look for, but you hope you don't find, and that's problems down below your main floor. But it can happen, especially with our climate and our topography, our soil condition, the rain we get. Things can start breaking into your house. You could wind up with water, moisture, mold, any of these things. Ox can fix all of it because it's all tied in together. Sometimes erosion causes a shift that causes a crack that causes water that causes mold, and then you got all of it. Sometimes it's just your whole house is slipping and everything else is good to go. They've got the helical pier system. They do mold removal, and that's even a bigger deal when we get into sticky, humid summer months. Ugh, here it comes. Same thing with all their other services. They're just the best in Alabama, maybe in the country. This is a top-notch company. This is who you want under there figuring it out and fixing it. Oxstrong.com, OX. Y'all get them to come over if you suspect trouble or you're just not sure and you need a good diagnosis. Let them get under there. I don't know what's under your house. We played foxes and hounds, but we didn't crawl under any houses, man. There's like snakes and spiders and clowns under there. But Ox doesn't care. They'll go under there. Oxstrong.com. Here's Don on a cell phone. What's up, Don?
Leland, hey, I called after your hide and go seek little segment, and
Yeah.
next thing I know, you're all serious for the next 30 minutes.
Oh,
So
it
I'm
comes and
sitting there
goes.
listening, I'm like, all I've got is something fun.
We'll do it,
But,
man. We can switch gears. You know how we do.
Okay, I do. I was raised in Coleman, and I was raised on a large farm, and we had miles and miles of fields of corn or whatever we were planting that year. And there was, during the planting season, the fields were plowed up to where there was nothing but dirt and then mounds of dirt. And my friends in high school, I'd get a bunch of them over, or college, once I moved into the first couple of years of college, we'd have friends over and we'd do bottle rocket wars at pitch black because there's no lights out there.
Yes.
It's awesome stuff. So your hide and go seek made me think of fun days at college and high school playing bottle rocket wars and shooting each other. We couldn't see each other. We'd shoot a bottle rocket, blow it up right in the middle of everybody else, and they'd scatter. It was a blast.
Literally, it was a blast.
Thank you for the memory.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Don. See, AJ, my people, what can I say? We used to try to kill each other. We didn't have freaking video games.
Right.
What are these kids of this generation that sit in their rooms and never leave their rooms, talking to their imaginary friends online? What are they going to talk about when they're old men?
You remember when I used to have that imaginary friend?
Remember that time we sat in the basement and played for like hours? Played what? I don't remember, but we were down there for hours. I literally grew a mushroom right between my legs. Feel sorry for these kids. All right, let's go to the top. Man, I got to talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center. So much has come out since that story broke on our show yesterday. These people have been deceitful, and there is an army of people that have been with them, and a lot of what you are told the last 10 years has been a straight lie. Straight lie. We've been saying something was up. We'll talk about it, that, and everything else. Y'all hang on.